You know, I almost didn't review this new Alchemist album, The Genuine Articulate, not just because like I'm pretty damn sick. I'm not like pretty damn sick. I'm not like super sick, but I don't feel good. I'm not sleeping well. You can barely hear my voice. But you know, it's tricky because like I said this about Conductor Williams, and I'll say this about Nicholas Craven. There's just these producers out there who are releasing so much great music at such a clip. They're on such a run, as you kids say, that it's hard to like just step back and appreciate all of it as it happens. So I'm doing my best here, you know, and obviously, you know, if you don't know, like I sort of relate to the Alchemist. Now that's an arrogant thing to say, you know. Dude's a legend. He's been in the game. I was in Watertown, Massachusetts, working at a PR firm, like when he was working with Prodigy of Mobb Deep. Okay, but still, just being a sort of being a white guy who's very much from not the streets, from the opposite of whatever the opposite of the streets is. That's, you know, where we're from, and still managing to find a way to give more than you take from hip-hop culture, to find some amount of acceptance, in his case a lot of acceptance, and in mine as well. I'm pretty happy about that. So like I sort of feel that similarity, you know. We're the same age. He's 5 weeks younger than I am, but we're basically the same age. I had a kid right around the same time he had a kid a couple of years ago. Matter of fact, I also have to keep this short because she's going to be waking up soon. And, you know, he congratulated me on her birth, and that's always kind of made me feel this sort of connection. I think that's setting her up to be a great hip-hop producer when she grows up. And just in general, you know, he and I both sort of play with this persona that we have of, you know, like the cool old white guy. Like, not old, but, you know, not young. You know, he sort of puts it in the sort of uncle terminology, but, you know, this album is also very much about dads, and so that's the main reason I want to review this album is for the last song, which I'll get to. So, you know, on the one hand, sorry, I'm going to sound like Peter Brady this whole episode. On the one hand, it's you know, an Alchemist solo album, and it's tricky because, like, I'm usually not like, oh, sweet, Alchemist is rapping. I don't hate his rapping, nor am I like, oh, this is what I want to hear. It's usually sort of like somewhere in the middle. That does change a little bit with this album. I think this is his best album I've heard of him actually rapping. But also, he is just one of these great producers who's able to, put it this way, I almost called this review the AL-Tang Clan. Thank you for auditing the Always Positive Music Review Show, hosted by a French professor who totally forgot to do his intro, so I just wedged it in there. But the reason I want to say that, of all the things I love about RZA, probably my favorite is that early run where you listen to each solo album and he knows how to produce differently, even though it's his style. He's able to produce with sometimes slight differences, sometimes maximal differences between his rappers in the Wu-Tang Clan. Alchemist doesn't have a clan, right? He just runs around and he works with people. But like there are people who work with him and he knows how to produce for them. So it's a really fun thing where this album has a lot of Alchemist solo, but then also just this murderer's row of just guest appearances. Schoolboy Q, who released maybe the best album of the year. Action Bronson, who released a great album this year. Havoc of Mobb Deep. Conway the Machine, who released his best album in a long time. Larry June, the smooth talking dude who's always great. I sort of feel like they're all like the other great thing about RZA was by setting it up, having so many people rapping, they were always kind of fighting against each other. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to treat this whole album like a Wu-Tang project where there's like 10 RZA verses, and then see, you know, who wins this cipher, who's going to be the best guest appearance. And also, hey, can we make the Al-Tang Clan happen? Can we make a whole album? How awesome would that be? A whole album of him with his like top flight collaborators who are so good they can carry their own albums, but have them like rapping on beats that are like trying to get on, you know? You know, like hear like Schoolboy Q and Action Bronson on some kind of like MGM Grand type song. That'd be sweet. Anyways, you tell me who you think should win, who has the best guest verse on this album, and I will think that's cool, and I'll read it. And I'm going to tell you, but I'm going to have some suspense. Well, the suspense is going to end. It's not Schoolboy Q in the first song, Ferraris in the Rain. I apologize for all the birds behind me. They're hungry. What are you going to do? You know, Alchemist really knows how to put this kind of yacht rocky, gentle rap style. I love the way he's able to find these samples. I also love that he doesn't just leave it as one sample. He has this sort of little break in it and gets it sort of exciting and then crazy and then goes back to the simple bit. I'm going to say something, and then I'm going to disagree with myself, okay? This is the largest disappointment on the album. Schoolboy Q has just proven himself to be an excellent MC, and this is barely even a verse. Nah, dude, you missed it. It's actually like a pretty far out, pretty good, interesting, wild verse. It's like an odd poem. That's what this is. Like, he's not trying to do bars. He's saying some rain, rain, take the pain away, white thing off a layaway, 4-5, who gonna fade away, oh God, who gonna play today? The Rolls Grill is at the pearly gates, the big clock, got the bumper phase, the all whites, I got ish to say, fell out the sky, shit ish to save. It's like, what's he saying? Where's he coming from? What is the point of this verse? And then just these totally killer drum samples at the end. And then we get the first single song, solo song, Something Light, sample from The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, later sample from Denzel from Equalizer 2. Cool badass samples. You gotta love badass movie samples. I think we need more of those. And then we get to Minnesota Fats with Action Bronson and Big Body Bez. Nice kind of jaunty beats. You know, this is how he knows how to produce for Action Bronson. Kind of a sort of jaunty, kind of funky, cool, slightly grimy thing. This great... I like Alk's verse a lot on here. Christian artist, yeah, a trucker, silk button up with a seersucker. You girly man, really soft, you just appear tougher. He a phony down from his beard down to his veneer structure. I'm grinning ear to ear. I had every whip I could ever care to steer. I like that, you know, the fake down to his veneers. Cool kind of break up in the middle, and then it just, you know, Action Bronson delivers a great Action Bronson verse. And then Big Body Bez, who's like his friend and collaborator on F That's Delicious. I don't know him particularly well, I'm not going to front on that, but he's sort of like the hype man. And there's a looseness to this song already, these first three songs. It just kind of lets you know, it's just sort of like, let's just have like a fun kind of loose time, you know? Then we have Prodigy in the outro of Mobb Deep, which leads into the song Scientology. I'm going to say something that might be controversial and weird. I think having Havoc on an Alchemist beat is the closest thing we can have to a Mobb Deep reunion or reboot. Right? Because, I mean, Alchemist and Prodigy did so much great work together. Havoc and Prodigy did so much great work together. It's wild. It's a wild thing to say, right? But it's... And again, it's kind of a Mobb Deep style beat. It's so different from the Action Bronson beat. Kind of shuffling hi-hat sound, these ominous sweeping sounds. And he's able to hold his own. He really is able to hold his own in the Prodigy spot. He doesn't rap as well as Prodigy, but he holds his own in the spot. There's a little quote there from King of New York, from Christopher Walken. I'll actually include a link in the description so you can see the entire scene that this is from, because he quotes it later too. It's a part where he kind of dances and he's all like, I feel no remorse. And Havoc is obviously great. I don't know what it is. It's like anyways, I feel sad when I listen to Havoc because I just miss Prodigy so much. Which isn't fair to him, you know. That's like feeling sad when you see someone when they're a widow or widower, you know. But still, his verse is great. I like how much credit he gives to Alchemist and how we have this real sort of sense of togetherness. Everybody's favorite uncle. Hey, I have a quick question for you out there. Is it cool for white people to call themselves uncle? Because I'm pretty sure that originated in sort of like, I don't know if it's Black Twitter or some sort of Black American space. And obviously uncle also exists in Chinese cultures, right? That's a famous thing. But like, the idea of any dude who has some gray in their beard calling them uncle, like I don't mind people calling me uncle all the time in the comments, and I just take it. But is it appropriation-y? I don't know. That's a genuine question. I'm not like, gotcha. Like, I just don't know. Bends with the trimmings and the exterior is black and brown. Attach the boogie board to the wagon roof and strap them down. I'm telling you, man. I don't smoke weed, you know, so I don't know how much I could hang out with Alchemist. I don't know if that's like an act, but he definitely seems to smoke a lot of weed, at least while he's on camera. But man, boogie boarding is so underrated. You know, boogie boarding, you buy the boogie board, it's free. You know that, right? You buy a boogie board for like $20, $30. You go out, the ocean is your playground. The ocean is your, you know? Hell, lose the boogie board and just body surf. I feel like the world is just, we just don't talk enough about how great the ocean is for just effing around. It's free. It's salty. It's great. And I like this way he uses his age as a threat. You lay a hand on me, you get infected from the rust metal. Love it. Love it. And then finally we have Diego Maradona featuring Conway the Machine. We have the winner. This is the best guess verse. Conway won. Not a big surprise because that Lulu album, that was my introduction to Alchemist and Conway, I think. So I love that. Just a killer beat here. Almost Middle Eastern strings in the back and head nodding atmosphere. I think this is the best rapping by Alchemist. He sort of changes his flow from time to time, some complicated rhymes, makes reference to the great association football player, soccer player Diego Maradona. Interesting, controversial guy. He had a lot of drug problems. Played for Argentina. Helped them win the World Cup in a totally fair way. And I don't want to hear anything about it. You just win, you win. Okay, it's just how it is. Come on, cheating. There's no cheating. And he also played for who's that? Naples. So Madonna bounced ball on the shin bone to your dome. I'm a follicle that's ingrown. You know, I'm lucky that my hair. You know, I'm genetically lucky that my hairline is held on. But I love this idea of like he shaves his head, so you know, ingrown hairs suck. I used to shave my face too. So like that's how bad he is. He's like rust, and he's a follicle that's ingrown. You know, I think because, you know, he's not from the streets, he's not pretending to be from the streets, it sort of frees him up to be a little bit more old school, a little bit more just like, what are the ways I can talk about messing you up? I'm an ingrown hair. And like, that's awesome. And then Conway just goes right into the verse, and there's like, I don't know, there seems like an easier back and forth with them. His whole verse is great, multisyllabic, Nintendo cartridge, Louis V's men's department, you know, really nice rich rhymes there. I like the way he changes up the flow. He talks about probably got more resources. Walk in the garage, 3 Porsches. He says he eat a 3-course meal at a Michelin 3-star. Okay. I'm sorry, I gotta call Cap, man. You don't eat a 3-course meal at a Michelin 3-star. Oh, you're going like 5, 7 courses. But I don't know. I've only eaten it, I think one. Yeah, I ate at one Michelin star restaurant once. It was because I knew somebody who worked there. And so like, you can eat there for free. I'm like, oh, yeah, give me all the amuse-bouche. And then at the end they're like, but you know, you got to cover, you know, your part of the tip. It's $117. The tip. My portion of the tip was $117. I was so pissed. I was like, this is somewhere in the Bay Area. I was like, God damn, you got to award me. You can't say it's free. I don't care if I ate $1,000 worth of food. I still just paid $100 for dinner. Then details, again, with Larry June. He's into his Larry June, more calm, yacht rocky style. Alchemist verse is a lot about his run, which is true. This is just an insane run. And Larry June is always too cool for what he's doing. Talk about how he doesn't care about hip-hop. Talk about how he doesn't care about what he does. And finally, we get to Seasons Change. The reason that you just got to listen to this album. You know, like, it's cool that he collaborates so much with Big Hit and Hit Boy because they are very much in the dad space, like talking about fatherhood. And it's like fatherhood is a real vein that can be mined better by rap artists, you know, especially as they're getting older. You know, obviously Kendrick is touching on it, thinking about his dad and how to be a good dad and stuff. But like, I mean, fatherhood's very powerful. It's very just inherently is just a really powerful thing that happens to you in your life. There's a lot of things to say about it. It's a positive thing to talk about, but it's also a real thing to talk about. So I love this song because it is just super real. It's super real. And like, he's rapping as a rich ass dad, okay? He's not rapping as like, you know, when I was a kid I had to eat off-brand Lucky Charms. No, he's just like, I'm driving around and everything's going great. I have a convertible. It's so nice out here. This is like rich dad rap, which shouldn't be relatable, but because you know he's the guy who produced, you know, a lot of the first Prodigy album, because he's the guy who produced all that stuff with Boldy J. You know, like, he's the Alchemist. So it was just great. This little, I want to say Brazilian guitar line. I love the way that it starts with him peeling his body off the couch. I actually, because I don't want to get my wife and my baby sick, I've been sleeping on the couch the last couple days. It's rough. Bo woke up at 2 and 4. He woke me up for walks. So normally I sleep in my bed and I get woken up by my newborn. Now I get woken up by my dog. I'm Rodney effing Dangerfield out here. And I still make this video for you. Smash like bucket, subscribe. AVAA. After school, I scoop up my son, take him to Bluey's house. He said, Daddy, I got an ouchie. I told him I'd kiss it, make it better now. He's happy. Cheerio crumbs and snacks in his lap, living carefree. The California sun came through the window while I was taking in the breeze. The seasons change, and like that, you're raking leaves. It's a sunrise, sunset. It's a cat's in the cradle and the silver moon. It's all that. It's great. And you know, the first time I listened to this, I was making pancakes on Sunday with a little girl on this right now. Okay, she's changed position. That means she's up. I got to get going. You know, it's beautiful. And why not talk? And it's real. Why not talk about it? And this is the thing. I listen to this song. Listen, I'm not a millionaire who lives in, get this, Beverly Hills. I've never worked with all these great dudes. You know, I'm not the Alchemist. I got a great life. I wouldn't trade my life for anybody's. But, you know, Alchemist has got a pretty, I mean, from the outside, right? Having a kid, being this professionally successful, this appreciated. But, like, I relate to that. And it wouldn't matter if I was, you know, like, where you are in your life. When you're a dad and you see the Cheerio crumbs or whatever, the pancake crumbs, whatever it is that you see, that feeling, the well-being that you see, and the knowledge that these kids are going to grow up. What does he say? A ball of clay becomes a person. You know, I got a 19-year-old son, too, and it's the same thing. I got a 16-year-old daughter, too. It's like you just see them become people, and it's just wild, and it's a whole thing that we can talk about. It's Alchemist is doing his part, much like Big Hit and Hit Boy, to sort of open up the emotional register of rap music and really get into the questions of fatherhood. So the finer things in life are overrated. Designer clothes fade, get overly dated, feeling depression when I drove Mercedes. And that's what it is, right? Like true wealth, well, is health, right? That's one thing. Doesn't matter how rich you are. If you're healthy, you're lucky. And then beyond that, it's just having a family, having a connection, having some sense of home, like I have right here. So thank you to my Patreons. Yo, what's going on, Patreons? Like, I'm getting so many Patreons. This is awesome. I sat there this morning. I tried to write down everybody's name. But everyone just keeps on just hopping on the professor. You know what it is? It's because they know on Friday I'm going to do another vlog. On my vlogs, I just drive to work and I just talk, and I just kind of like share stuff about my life. I might talk a little bit more sort of salaciously about things that are upsetting me. Like this Friday, I'm probably going to talk about my secret op that you don't even know about. You don't know who my op is, but I'm going to talk about them on Friday. So maybe that's what it is. Got some new folks down there. Hope I got your name right. So anyways, another new feature on my future video. I made this shot. I have no idea how I made it. I'm not going to make it again. So I'm just going to go. And if I make it again, I'd seriously, nothing. There's nothing you can do if I make this again. Okay. You see? That should have happened the first time. Now I gotta go get it on the yard. Here's the camera.